Hello everyone, my name is Sai and today I'm quite excited to start a new video slash series about Outriders. Now this is a game that I've been quite interested about for a long time. I've been following a lot of their trailers, a lot of their reveals throughout the different conventions that we've been seeing last year or so, and now here we are today talking about the new legendary item gear set that Outriders teams released at Twitter today. They were talking about how they will be starting this week, they'll be releasing different gear sets for different classes and really just see how the mods will be affecting our builds in general. So for our first legendary gear set reveal, we have the Reforged gear set for the Pyromancer class, and personally I was not surprised by this at all. Pyromancer is literally the face of the game and probably the most anticipated class so far by all the players out there. I mean, just look at this bad boy. This armor's visual look absolutely stunning. So before we dive into the entire gear set, I do want to talk about them as a whole. Now, as you could see, you usually need 5 pieces to complete the entire gear set. One for a headwear, one for a chest piece, one for a leg piece, one for an arm piece, and one footwear. Sadly, for this instance, we only have 4 pieces to go by since this reveal was actually tweeted out, and as you know, you could only post 4 pictures at a time in a tweet. I don't know why they didn't just add a sub-thread to show the 5th piece, but it is what it is. The first piece we'll be discussing about is actually called Cowl of the Reforged. It's a headwear, and as you can see, the item level is only 17 out of 45. This indicates that we could actually get these armor sets quite early in the game, which is really nice because it lets the player really shape their gameplay and start building and experimenting with different stats early on. At the top, we're looking at the smaller inscriptions that come with the gear piece. First one being the armor at 570, max health 100, a long range damage 8%, cooldown reduction 4.33. Now these are some really small numbers, not that significant. So when you do pick up this armor, which is a legendary gear, you might not feel as excited or as pumped just looking at these stats. But this is, if you go a little bit below, that's where the juicy stuff really comes in, the mods. And this is what we're looking at when we'll be going through these gears, because the mods will really make the difference. Now there are 3 different tiers of mod. Tier 1 and 2 are not that amazing and can be obtained by RNG or crafting them into your gear, but tier 3 is where it gets fun. Tier 3 will be a piece specific mod, and those are the mods you really want to look out for and base your build around them. Now the first mod we'll be looking at for this gear set is called Double Fun. It lets you target 2 enemies with the thermal bomb skill, so double the explosion, double the fun. And for the second mod, we have Big Boom. It's basically increases the explosion radius for thermal bomb by 20%. So not only you're now affecting 2 enemies with thermal bomb, you're also increasing the radius for each enemy that's affected by it by 20%. So that's kind of neat. And for the second gear, we're looking at Armor of the Reforged. It is a chest piece, and as you can see, the armor for this gear set is much higher, which makes sense because since it's a chest piece, it blocks more damage. But for the mods, we have our first tier 3 mod called Branded, and this one has a inscription that actually also affects thermal bomb. It says enemies affected by the skill will receive 40% more damage. So that's a huge deal. You could proc the bomb much faster and get more explosions out of it. And for our second mod, we're looking Bullet Absorption. Feed the Flames replenishes 20% of your ammo in your magazine for every enemy affects by the skill. So Feed the Flame is basically pull your enemies towards you, and now the more enemies you pull, the more bullet you get. For a third gear, we're looking at Waistcloth of the Reforged. It is a leg piece mod, and as you can see, the armor value for this piece is actually quite high, so that's pretty good. Now if you look into the mods, the first mod we could see is a tier 3 mod called Flame Grasper. Now this one actually enables absorption up to 2 additional targets for Feed the Flames. Last mod we had that the more enemies you grab, you get more bullets in your magazine, so this one will definitely go hand to hand with it. But the second mod we have is called Wildfire. Thermal Bomb. The skill inflicts burn on every enemy damaged by the explosion. Now this is actually a pretty big one, and I'll just explain a bit why. Thermal Bomb, usually when it goes up, doesn't apply burn, it just explodes and damages people, kills them. But let's say you're in a higher lobby, you have higher level enemies, and you or your teammate finishes off a target who has Thermal Bomb on them and just explodes and applies burn damage to everybody. That's more healing for you and more damage if you have Ash Blast at your hands. Of course, remember this is a tier 1 mod, so this is total RNG or craftable, but this is still looking pretty good so far. And finally, for our fourth piece, we have Boots of the Reforged. It is a footwear, and the armor value for this is also pretty high. So it looks like so far the headpieces will be having the lower armor stats. But for this one, the tier 3 mod that I really like is actually called Power Assimilation. This one boosts your anomaly power by 192 for each elite present on the battlefield. So this is just the perfect mod for you to have if you want to just get into the thickness of the battle and just do as much as damage possible, because the more elite enemies there are, the more damage you'll be doing. And remember, these are item levels only 17, so as they go up, these stats will also increase in numbers. So this is a really good mod to have. And for our second mod, we have Nova. It's a Feed the Flames mod, increases the skill range by 100%. That's pretty good. That's twice the range right there. You could grab people from pretty far away and just, you know, instantly burn them to death. But now I want to get into the best part of this entire gear set, which is the gear set bonus. And if you look at the very bottom, it says increases Feed the Flame damage and thermal bomb damage by 50%. And when I saw this, my reaction was quite like, nice. Because usually you do not see a lot of developers for looter shooters give you these big upgrades from a lot of gear set bonuses. Because I just don't know why, but I like the direction this is going, because it will feel special when you have a legendary gear and it will actually inspire you to build different builds around them, just so you could have fun with your favorite skill or just utilize them to their maximum ability. After going through all the gear pieces and looking through the mods, I really came down to the best possible combo for the Reforged gear set and the Pyromancer. I think running a build that it's all based around Thermal Bomb and Ash Blast will be the best choice right here, because majority of the inscriptions from the gear set really enables Thermal Bomb to the next level, and just getting Ash Blast, getting that CC to lock down all the hordes of enemies around you, and just using the Thermal Bomb, activating it will just cause a absolute chaos, murdering hordes and hordes of enemies within seconds. And you know, this was literally just my speculation so far. I really love doing a lot of theory crafting and going over different items. I love numbers. So let me know what are your thoughts so far in the comments below, and if there's any suggestions, throw them in my way. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and see you again for the next video. Peace.